What's up, guys? Manual Pedal here. Thank you all for tuning into this video. Before we get started, I wanted to say hit the subscribe button and also the bell if you want to be notified when I make videos, when they drop here. I thank you all for tuning in. And if you enjoy the video, give me a like. And if you don't, of course, you can hit the thumbs down, but much more appreciated if you, of course, give me a like. And if you see value in the video, if it helps you out in any way with your road cycling, in your path to fitness, then I'm psyched that it did. And, you know, of course, in the end of the video, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and we can build community around this whole video. And I'm here in Central Park. Today's video discussion is going to be mainly about building fitness while road cycling. As a road cyclist, where you are at your fitness. We're going to be chatting about skill, strength, and fitness overall, and how to become stronger while you're road cycling. I'm going to try my best not to go off into tangents, but I'm going to be like surfacing the video around personal experiences of mine, and I'm going to be chatting a little bit about this ride as well. I'm a data junkie, so you can see I have all my data up on here, all the data fields, all the metrics and everything. So we got the miles per hour on the left, the bottom left of the screen, with the power, which is in watts. I also have RPM, which you can see, which is my cadence. We got the course map up on the top right with the duration of the ride. And you can see I'm pretty early in the start, a little under 3 minutes. And we also got the mileage, and we got my heart rate and the feet of climbing. And we're here in Central Park in NYC. And we're just gonna go through this video just chatting about fitness. I got a lot of questions actually about how to build fitness as a road cyclist. I did a big ride not long ago, maybe a little bit last week, where I did 100 and somewhat miles, full century of riding, and I'm sure you guys have seen that video. I'll drop an annotation somewhere over here with myself getting a flat tire during that ride. But yeah, it was a big ride, one of my big rides, my first century I've done this year so far. And I want to just chat about like the planning that goes into it, what I do, and also want to talk outside of that about just building fitness as a road cyclist, where I got started and where you might be. And hopefully this video can help you out with all that. So, you know, for instance, we're going to just chat about like 3 important topics I think that need to be discussed. Is like skill, strength, and fitness. And, you know, if you're starting from zero and just getting into road cycling, and depending on like, or maybe you like a beginner or someone who's a more advanced, or maybe you're even like a crit racer, an elite crit racer. And, you know, your skill is something you want to determine, like, where are you at as a road cyclist? You know, like if you're a beginner, you're not going to be putting out like 300-400 watts power on a big climb. You know, you're not going to be doing 1600 watts in a sprint to the finish if you're a beginner. So determining where you are as a cyclist is going to help. How do you get there is putting yourself out in the world, putting yourself in front of other riders, surrounding yourself with those cyclists, and getting into a wheel. As you can see here, like, just chase a wheel. You know, if you're not a part of a group ride at your local, you know, your local scene or something like that, I definitely recommend doing that. I mean, that's how I got started. Before, I was riding a lot by myself, and I still do to this day. But if you really want to build skill as a road cyclist, I definitely recommend joining a club. Find your local club, whether it's at your local bike shop or some kind of club you can jump on. There's lots of raffle clubs out there too, or even like local organizations that you can just jump on rides with. And if you don't want to join them, if you feel a little weird about it, because maybe you might be a little embarrassed about, like, you know, just kind of getting into it, if you feel like you're going to get dropped and you're not going to feel good, you know, like, set that aside, all the negative aspects of it, and just get out there. You know, get out there, like, because just know you're going to get dropped. You know, if you're getting into the sport, it's you know, it's going to take some time for you to develop strength and fitness overall to be able to hang on to these wheels, because there's a lot of skilled people out there. So just don't feel discouraged when you are going to be riding with a big group. Just hang on, try to hang on as much as possible. If you're more an advanced rider, you know, you'll definitely get there because you've been able to ride a lot by yourself. So if you're not in a group, for instance, myself, like, I didn't begin doing group rides until like a long time ago. Like, I started out riding by myself, like that's kind of how I did it. And I just rode every day. I would ride to work every day, and pretty much that's how I built fitness. And you could do the same for a racer. So if you want to race, if it's like your first race that you want to get into, the crit season, let's say it's coming up, and which usually starts in spring in the Northeast. And if you want to jump into a race, if you've been riding all year long and come springtime, you want to start racing, you can literally race yourself into shape. And that's something that happened with me, where I raced myself into shape, where I would just ride over the winter. I rode literally in the snow and just built my skill through that, and came race day. Yeah, I got dropped on my first race, but I've developed skill by riding by myself, by immersing myself in the sport so much, whether it's watching YouTube videos, whether it's watching blogs or reading magazine, bicycling magazine. I learned how to build skill literally just through riding. But I definitely recommend, if you're a beginner just getting into the sport, jump on a group ride, find your local group, get involved, immerse yourself, and don't be afraid to do that. And skill's gonna come back in later on in the video, but I think we can kind of move into strength, because that's really important too. So weight, I don't want to talk too much about that, because I'm a pretty big guy myself. I'm super tall. I'm like 6'1", and I'm pretty heavy too. And it's being heavy is, you need a lot of power and you need a lot of strength to be able to hold on. Again, depending on your strength mixed with a little bit of skill, like if you've been riding for 5 years, if you've been riding for 10 years, you're going to be able to bang out an hour ride at full capacity and put a lot of strength into your climbing. Let's say you're a beginner and you want to ride for a century, and you want to bang out 100 miles. Yeah, you can do that, but at what pace are you going to be riding? Are you going to be able to hold 250, 300 watts at 27 miles per hour, 25 miles per hour? Are you going to be able to run that cadence of 90 to 100 RPMs consistently for an hour? A century takes about 6 hours to do. Sometimes people can bang them out in 5, but where your skill level is going to determine, depending on how long you've been riding, where you're at in your fitness level, to be able to determine whether or not you're going to be able to fully do a century at a comfortable pace where you're actually feeling pretty good. And at the end of that century, you want to make sure like you're not gonna throw your bike in the can, right? It's like oftentimes, like I've done the centuries before in the past where like I felt like I wanted to quit riding after I finished, like that's how bad it was. But like lately, my last century I did, man, I felt like I could have gone longer. Like I felt really, really good. And my fitness is like definitely on par, for sure. How to prepare for that, it's a lot that goes into it. Me, I mainly do a lot of high carb, low fat when it comes to like my nutrition in general. But for centuries more specifically, I definitely try to prepare like a week beforehand. I actually don't really change up my diet at all. And I do the same thing when I used to race. We never really switch up my diet. I just ate a lot of high carb, low fat, and that gave me the energy and everything I needed to sustain myself during the ride and have enough fuel to be able to bang out these long rides. And I think that also comes into strength when you're riding for long periods of time, where let's say in this park right here on this ride, I went pretty hard. I banged this ride out. It was a 20 mile ride, and it took me about a little bit over an hour to complete it. But this is a fitness strength ride. Like I was really going hard during this ride, and I was out the saddle on the second lap going up one of the climbs, and I was like putting in some pretty big watts. So yeah, I mean, it depends on where you are with that and your ability to be able to figure out where you're at. Like what are you good at? You can classify yourself as a climber or a sprinter, but I think it's important to just be well-rounded as a cyclist, and determine all that later down the line. Just get out there and ride and enjoy it, before you start classifying yourself whether or not you're this or that. just enjoy riding. I think you'll be able to figure it out once you begin racing where your skills are at, and what you're really good at when it comes to cycling. When you're up against guys who are riding and putting out really big power during a crit race, I mean, you'll definitely be confronted with your skills and where you're at and your strength. So, you know, before you start to say you're a sprinter, you're a climber, you know, if you're just big into endurance rides like myself, then honestly, like, you know, I think you'll be able to identify with that later down the line. But if you're a beginner, just ride, get out there, enjoy it, have fun. I definitely recommend getting in and out the saddle when you're going on climbs, and just to move around your legs. You want to just move around your body and just see where you're comfortable at and where your discomforts are too, and identify that and try to modify it on your next ride. I always say to try to go like 5% better or harder than you did your previous ride. So if you're going for if you're out the saddle on one of your climbs, sit down and then spin it out and see how fast you can get up that hill. Vice versa, if you're sitting down going up that hill, maybe just get out the saddle and drop the gear, you know, and just see how it works for you. And fitness, man, fitness is super important. Fitness is super important. It's the deciding factor whether or not you'll be able to sustain yourself on a long ride or even a short ride like this. I mean, yeah, I can get out here in Central Park and ride for an hour, but when it comes down to it, like, just because I can do this and bang it out in under like an hour and a half, 20 miles, or even like 40 miles in under 2 on this particular road, I mean, will I be able to ride 100 miles with a friend of mine if they invited me out on Saturday, you know? So I think the ability to suffer is important. So you got to be able to go hard. I think have in mind, like, don't just do the same route every time you go out riding. Like, switch it up. You know, like, I always search for different routes. Like, I'm riding hills, I'm riding in the flats, I'm riding in this park, I commute to from work, things like that, you know? And you have to also identify, like, if you're riding solo or if you're riding with groups. If you're riding solo, it's going to be kind of tough when you actually ride with people, because you might get dropped and you might not be able to keep up with them. You could even be faster than them. So they may need some of your advice. So that's when you can kind of really go into your coaching, you know, and really help out people who are in need, you know? So those are things to look out for when it comes to fitness. And also, like, think, like, are you going for long rides? You know, like, if you're just going to be doing like 25, 30 miles every day, even if you ride 5 days a week, you know, whatever, if you're doing the same route, or if you're putting in the same mileage, like 25 somewhat miles, come a century or a race, it's going to be tough for you to hang on, you know? Like, yeah, you can ride 100 miles and take 8 hours to finish, but it may not be your best effort. So I think it's important to switch it up. Always search for new roads. Always find a flat road that you can ride. Go into the hills. Find your biggest hill in your neighborhood, wherever you are, your city, wherever you are in the world. Like, literally, just find something that you can climb up, because that's really gonna take your fitness to the next level. And switch it up. I definitely recommend, like, my whole thing now is to try to do a century a month, you know, or 2 centuries a month. So that's pretty much like 1 every 2 weeks. And so, like, if I can do 2 centuries a month and just like regular rides, which could be anywhere from 30 to 40 somewhat miles of riding, like that's what's gonna really intensify things. That's what's really going to help you build strength and skill when it comes to riding with other people. So just definitely keep that stuff in mind, and make sure that, like, when you're out there, if you could go that extra 5%, put in that work, you know? And definitely recommend all those things. And I hope this is, like, pretty relatable to everyone. I mean, this is Central Park here, and this is like a pretty easy ride for me because I do it all the time. But again, for someone who's beginner, like, this could be really tough. You know, it could be really, really tough. So I started the training program due to COVID-19. I won't be able to, like, really put it out there right now, just because you need to be in Central Park in order to ride it. But I'm gonna be opening it back up again. It's a high intense training program of mine that I just started, and unfortunately I started it before this pandemic got kicked in, and then when I was promoting it, I had to shut it down for a bit until things soften up over here in New York City. But I just wanted to let you all know that that will be happening again soon. Once everything cleans up, I'll be promoting that again, so you all can check it out if you're local in New York City, or if you need some coaching and everything. Just sign up for that program, and check out these videos too. These videos, man, I'll be dropping here on YouTube. They're to help you out. I hope they offer you value, and I hope that you see this could help you become a better rider, a better, stronger rider. And maybe you could learn something from this and build some conversation around it. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments here. And don't forget to subscribe and share the video too, of course. And I got a lot of new updates on the website, manualpedal.com. I completely revamped it, and it's been a long time coming because I've been wanting to do that for over 2 years. So my background is in mountain biking, bike touring, and of course road cycling. Those are 3 disciplines that I really enjoy doing. And that's another thing too. If you're a dedicated road cyclist, switch it up. Get a mountain bike and go on some mountain bike trail rides. I think mountain biking will definitely teach you some different ways of how to handle your bike. It's a completely different discipline and way of riding. So you'll definitely learn a thing or two from mountain biking. So I definitely recommend switching it up. I do a lot myself. But yeah, a lot of new things are coming up. I will circle back with you guys on that stuff in another video, but I hope you guys seen the value in here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.